On March 11, 2011, a 9.0 earthquake struck the shores of Japan, causing a massive tsunami, which engulfed much of the northeastern part of the country. 3 of the 6 nuclear reactors at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station in Fukushima Prefecture went into meltdown, which means that they were damaged and began to leak after overheating. The presence of large amounts of hydrogen gas at the plant caused an explosion, which tore apart the buildings around reactors 1 and 3. This caused radiation to be spewed into the air. This system that was supposed to keep the reactor cores from overheating was knocked out during the earthquake. Officials warned people living near Fukushima to stay indoors, to turn off air conditioning, and to not drink tap water. Overall, the disaster killed over 20,000 people. There is a continued fear of the presence of radioactive elements in the environment and the fear of long-term radiation poisoning.
The title of this article is An agonist of toll-like receptor 5 has radioprotective activity in mouse and primate. A single injection of CBLB-502 before lethal total body irradiation protected mice from both gastrointestinal and hematopoietic acute radiation syndromes and resulted in improved survival. CBLB-502 injected after irradiation also enhanced survival, but at a lower radiation dosage. It's noteworthy that the drug did not decrease tumor radiosensitivity in mouse models.
CBLB-502 is a drug developed by the Cleveland Biolabs. CBLB was originally created in an effort to protect healthy cells during radiotherapy, so that more aggressive measures could be taken to attack malignant cells and increase the effectiveness of this drug and treatment. So radiation damages healthy cells in a way that causes
known as apoptosis.
CBLB-502 temporarily suppresses this response and enables healthy cells to increase radiation resistance. CBLB-502 is in active development in the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. It's used to treat active radiation syndrome, a radiation poisoning from any exposure to radiation, such as the nuclear disaster or radiological weapons or dirty bomb. So TLR5 is a toll-like receptor 5, also known as protein, which enables the human to be encoded for the gene. The toll-like receptor family plays a fundamental role in the pathogen recognition and activation of active immunity. So TLR5 is a toll-like receptor 5, which is a protein in which humans are encoded by the TRL5 gene. So the toll-like receptor, TLR, is a family which plays a fundamental role in pathogen recognition and activation of innate immunity. So TRL5 recognizes the flagellin, and flagellin is the protein monomer that makes up for the filament of bacterial flagella.
To test whether CBLB-502 retained radioprotective efficacy of flagellin, scientists administered a single injection, 0.2 milligrams per kilogram, to NH Swiss mice 30 minutes before 13 GY TBI. Total body irradiation TBI is a radiation therapy technique which is used to prepare the body to receive a bone marrow transplant. The amount of radiation used in photon radiation therapy is measured in gray, GY. The treatment rescued more than 87% of mice from radiation-induced death. Anti-radiation drug protected mice against the very high doses of radiation that induce HP or combined HP and GI syndromes. With injection of CBLB-502 1 hour post-irradiation, 40% of the CBLB-502 treated mice survived as compared with 7% of the control mice. Thus, CBLB-502 is effective as both protects against and mitigates radiation-induced injury. Data illustrates the potential use of CBLB-502 to protect healthy tissues from the adverse side effects of radiotherapy, which are frequently dose-limiting, while not interfering with killing the tumor. These experiments also show that CBLB-502 can protect mice from lethal cumulative damage of fractioned irradiation.
According to Japan Atomic Energy Agency, hazardous materials spread into the land about 30 centimeters with the help of rain. Since hazardous materials have been infused into the ground, this greatly begins to affect the crops that grow on the soil, which in turn largely affects the cattle that eat the crops and then produce contaminated milk and dairy products. The tsunami and earthquakes destroyed Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant And the radioactive cesium consistently has been found in 60 to 80% of the Japanese fishing catches, and which are in each month tested by Japan's fisheries agency. Debris from the tsunami contaminated the Pacific coast as well, which then floated into Canada, and where they did not want to believe that they had been contaminated, they had been, according to Ken Bouslier, oceanographer. And he reported that the Fukushima disaster caused the history's biggest ever release of radiation, 10 to 100 times as much as Chernobyl, into the ocean. And therefore, since the fisheries in Japan were contaminated with cesium radioactivity, then they exported their products into Canada, which then contaminated all of Canada's seafood.
In summary, CBLB 502 reduces radiation toxicity without diminishing the therapeutic anti-tumor effect of radiation. CBLB 502 enables healthy cells to increase radiation resistance. Data from this article illustrated that CBLB 502 protects healthy tissues, and when tested on mice can protect them from lethal cumulative damage of traction radiation. ARS is acute radiation syndrome, which is caused by radiation poisoning from any exposure. One single injection of this drug protects mice against acute radiation syndrome.
The Fukushima disaster of 2011 demonstrates our continued need for better radiation treatment. Drugs such as CBLB 502 may be implemented in the future to decrease deaths due to severe radiation incidents such as the Fukushima nuclear disaster.